Hey, Justin Moore, General Manager of George Moore Chevrolet. We are in downtown Jacksonville at Manifest Distilling with Jim and David. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for coming out.
Yeah. What do you guys do here?
Well, we distill things, just like the name implies. Yeah. But we make, we're an organic full-scale distillery. So what that means is we make vodkas, gins, some liqueurs, and of course whiskeys.
Okay. What did you guys make first?
First, here would have been the vodka. But we also at that time started making our whiskey because it takes 2 years to age it. So we started making whiskey early on as well, but we didn't sell it until 2 years later.
Right, so the whiskey was, we started making it before we even opened.
Okay.
Just because we had to get it in the barrel. But the very first thing was on the shelf was our potato vodka.
So do both of you distill?
Neither of us do anymore, really.
Okay.
When we started, it was me doing most of it. And then since I'm really stuck behind a computer all day, which is super fun.
So how did you, I mean, it's an art and a craft. How did you start doing it?
Sure. So
how and when?
Right. My background comes from creative. So I worked in film and television, and I worked in a lot of creative industries. So when I got back I left Jacksonville, came back. When I got back, kind of the idea was born. I'm a Florida, Jacksonville, born and raised. So I really wanted to do something downtown Jacksonville. It was important to me to have a business down here. I used to come down here all the time to the Gator Bowl as a kid growing up, and I was like, man, you know, how cool would it be if something was down here for people to do? So that was the inspiration, and I got the itch to do distilling, and then I think where your question's going, I ended up taking some classes and interning at distilleries, went and got educated, and that's what started.
And then how do you two know each other?
We first met going down with another friend of ours, Todd, to a tiny distillery in Umatilla. And I don't know, I just kind of like Ginny, I just kind of wandered in here off the street one day, and that's where we're here now.
He just came in and he never left. So I was like, well, we might as well hire you.
I recognized you from the Chamber of Commerce website. Mm-hmm. So you obviously, we're both born here, mm-hmm. and that's kind of our root of passion for this city. Are you from here as well?
This is the longest I've ever lived in one place, and I came down here, I started working here in 1990 in Jacksonville. I moved here 4 years later, but I commuted from the New Jersey area down here for 4 years.
Now, what you guys have done here and what Intuition has done is absolutely necessary to the gentrification of downtown or rejuvenation of downtown. What have you got? How many years have you been in this location?
5 years this September. So
okay,
6 years since we started building out. Yeah.
So you've seen a lot. What else do you guys see as a huge opportunity for this area of downtown?
It's one of those things that I was very jaded about downtown prior, not jaded in a bad way, just jaded in the sense that I wanted more for just downtown.
Okay.
Before we opened, I wanted more for the city. Same thing. I lived kind of all over, saw what all these other cities had to offer. And once we started getting into this, we realized that, people like us in Intuition, we're also a manufacturing business.
Right.
So we don't survive solely on foot traffic, right? We ship stuff out of our back door, and that helps.
It's good icing on top, though.
Well, it is. No, don't get me wrong. And it's now integral to our business model. We need people coming down here. But at the same time, it's tough for a restaurant or a bar where it's feast or famine, right? You got an event or a game day, it's great. But outside of those, 200 plus events out of the year, there's no one down here.
Hopefully there's a law about to be signed into action that'll change how we can do customer service here in July. So that'll be interesting.
We'll be able to sell cocktails.
Okay,
historically we haven't been able to. Our law is we cannot sell anything for consumption on premise. So you can buy a bottle, you can go, we can give away tastings, we can sell you a mixer or whatever, but we cannot sell an actual drink. And that's hopefully, fingers crossed, very much looks like it's going to happen, which really revolutionizes craft distilling in Florida for us to be able to run this like an actual cocktail bar. Right. So I'll oversimplify it because a lot of people come in here and say, "Oh, cool, you guys are a brewery too." And so you have a brewery, you have a distillery, you have a winery, right? All three are fermenting some kind of a starch, whether it's grapes or malt or rye or potato, whatever it is. So everybody starts with a starch source. They ferment it, and then what happens after that is the finished product. For a beer or a wine, it's finished once it's done with fermentation or some barrel aging. For us, we go one step further and it gets distilled, which is the big kind of shiny stainless copper thing back there. And that we're putting a fermented wash or a distiller's beer into that. It gets distilled over the course of a day, and what comes off of that is 100% clear. All alcohol is clear when it's made. And then depending on what goes in, depends on what happens next. So for vodkas and gins, it gets proofed and goes into the bottle, or for our barrel-aged gin or whiskeys or stuff like that, it's gonna go lay down in a barrel for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plus years.
So how were you guys impacted the last year?
I mean, like everybody, right? I mean, you know, we had to shut down our tasting room. Thankfully, we didn't have to let go of any employees. We started making sanitizer, which a lot of breweries and distilleries did. And that really kept us busy, and it kept us, you know, here and alive.
How has Daleys Place impacted you guys?
It's good. I think it's good for downtown because it's bringing more people. And if we don't stay open late. We close at 7 because we can't sell cocktails.
Oh,
Once we can,
yeah.
we'll stay open later. And then when you leave a concert, now you have a place to go. If you want to get a drink, you can come and get a drink. You know, we couldn't capitalize on that before. So we may see more of a benefit from that.
Sure.
What is your favorite spirit made here, and what's your favorite way to consume it?
Well, we love all our children,
But
but right now I'm drinking the citrus vodka because it's getting warm again, and that's just good on the rocks with a splash of soda. In the winter months in Jacksonville, of course, like when it gets so cold here, I do like the whiskeys and all that kind of stuff.
my number one consumed by volume is probably our gin.
Okay.
I think it's just such a versatile spirit.
Share this video, and we are giving away a $50 gift card to Manifest Distilling.